Wednesday to Thursday. Sorry for that. And we had to do that because on Wednesdays, I was asked to teach in a prison, so that's what happened. They asked me to change it from Friday to Thursday to Wednesday. So it's not going to change from Wednesday though. So I appreciate everybody's flexibility here. Is this the best night for everybody is the question. Is Friday a better night or is Thursday a better night if it's not going to be on Wednesday? I would like everybody to register whether they can do it on Friday, because if we can do it on Friday, we would prefer that. So there's some people that can't join on Thursday because the Sai Center meetings on Thursday nights. So just think about that and I'll discuss it with Sai Prasada.
Okay, sure. At least the people who have been coming regularly will know what is possible for them. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be best so we don't lose people. And so some people say Thursday is better than Friday. We'll do what everybody would like to the best of our ability. And if I can get back to Thursday night teaching at the prison rather than Wednesday night, is Wednesday the most preferable night?
Someone is asking if Monday or Tuesday is possible.
So Monday, I share meditation on Zoom with everybody at 7:30 every Monday. And so that's a big group of people in and of itself that are not necessarily Sai devotees, though some of them are. Zoom meditations are every week on Monday, so I won't be able to do Monday. And Tuesdays may be possible, so let's just think about that too.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody said Thursday's perfect.
All right.
So we'll see what's best for everyone. Thank you.
I know Merrill and Jake Borden can't come on Thursdays because their Sai Center meets then.
Yeah, he sent me a message, asked me to record it so he can watch it later.
Yeah, that'd be nice. They can. Okay, so thank you all for being here tonight. And we have some very special information that Swami actually gave very, very, very early on. And I think that very few people realize what this bhajan is about. So Roseanne's going to share the bhajan.
Oh, we're going to do it together.
We're going to do it together, but first, let's just say the words. Yeah,
okay.
Let's just say the words. So go ahead.
In 1978, when we were in our first interview, Swami sang, and he often sang this in those days: love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food, my life is my message, expansion is my life. No season for love, no reason for love, no birth, no death.
Then he would say it again. No birth, no death. And he would emphasize it. Do we all realize that? Do we all realize what he's really saying there? No birth, no death. Then he says, of course, Shirdi Sai, Satya Sai, Prema Sai, JJ, Shirdi Baba, Satya Baba, Prema Baba, JJ. He never makes a distinction between the three incarnations of the avatar.
Right.
They're really one incarnation.
And he gets the human values lifted. So it's like a condensation of all his teachings that we, it seems like such a simple bhajan, but it's actually all his teachings. And when he would sing it, it was so divine.
Satya, Prema, Satya, Ananda, Dharma, Shanti, Ahimsa. Now, it's all there. The entire teaching is in that song. Whoever wrote that song?
He wrote it.
Oh, Swami wrote it.
Yes.
Well, Swami's brilliant. I never knew that Swami wrote that song.
Yeah, that was just him.
All right, so there we go. So, okay, so let's sing it. If you could sing it in your home, joining us, let's sing it together, all right? Yeah, I'm good. I like to do it in a little bit of a funny way, but bear with me. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my life. No reason for love, no season for love, no birth, no death. Prema Satya Ananda Dharma Shanti Ahimsa Shirdi Sai Satya Sai Prema Sai Jai Jai Shirdi Baba Satya Baba Prema Baba Jai Jai. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Those are all important, very important words. But the most important phrase of it all is no birth, no death. No birth, no death. That means what? That means we have never been born and we will never die. What is born and what dies? All of creation. So prior to all of creation, prior to the Big Bang, we are that. He says it. He sang it. He's been singing it. And while he was singing it in a form, he'll sing it again. And no doubt it's Prema Sai Baba when he gets to be 14 or so. I hope he comes out at 14. I'm really impatient about that. So, but the thing is that he said it. He sang it. He told us early on. I think he was singing that song in 76, 75, 76. I'm not sure when it started. But certainly that is the start of the Sathya Sai International Organization was 1975. And it was probably sung at its inception during the birthday that occurred then. I think it was 65th.
And just like Krishna told Arjuna in the Gita, you were never born and you will never die. All the soldiers that were fighting in that war, he said, they were never born and they will never die.
So Swami just corrected me. I think it was the 55th birthday, but anyway, we're never born and we never die. So why do we not take up that process of thought correction? Why are we still thinking about identifying with the material body that has birth and death? Why do we not really say, wow, Swami, okay, I get it. I was never born and I will never die. That means I'm not the body mind. There's no mind without a body. And there's no body that doesn't have a mind at some point or another. Maybe Alzheimer's sets in, but there's still a mind there. Body mind is incarnation. When we're not incarnated, we don't have a body mind. So why do we think we're all our thoughts and feelings? Why do we let those bother us? Why do we let our desires and attachments bother us? Why? No birth, no death.
There's not much else to say. I love how Swami said, expansion is my life. It's just there was no limits. There is no limits to who we really are. And then later he said, your life is my message, because we all had to take that work on, what he taught us. And so, but we have to ask, what are we doing? Are we really living up to his teachings? And are we really knowing our divinity and our oneness, and that there's nowhere where Swami isn't. There's nowhere there's no time where he wasn't. There's no place he isn't. And he is just the absolute. And, everyone here is meditating. So that's a great thing, because we're finding out, we're doing the inner exploration that is just avoided by human beings usually. But we're looking inward and finding that the universe, that beyond the universe, as Al always says, before the Big Bang, before creation, I am. So we look at this promise, this song that Swami sang to us about who we really are. And the depth of it is just astounding. I'm amazed. I'm just amazed, that I was sitting there, in 1978 as a 23-year-old, and I can still get so much from that very short, simple song, that at the time I just was just blown away by how loving Swami was. But his whole teachings is in it.
If you think about it, when Swami says no birth, no death, you were never born and you will never die, that means we're all beyond time and space. And the only space and time that we are constrained by are the thoughts of our mind being constrained by space and time, but we're really not. So at some point in sadhana, you have to say to yourself, my dharma as a householder, dharma, I should say, not dharma, I'm from Brooklyn, but you have to say to yourself, my dharma is to be a wife, a mother, a husband, a father, or a student in this Western world, but I'm not that role. I'm not bound by the material world. I'm in the material world. We're in the material world, but we're not of it. And nothing about it constrains us if we know who we are. And we can know who we are just by saying, oh, Swami's correct, and I have full, absolute faith in him. Bingo, you're enlightened. That's it. That's all it really takes. You just believe wholeheartedly that what Swami's saying is absolutely true, and you reject all other thoughts that vary or differ from that. Bingo, you're enlightened. That's it. Yeah, now, of course, that's enlightened, like you don't have to come back to earth enlightened, but then there's other levels of enlightenment. Aham brahmasmi, one with the absolute, experientially, when in the meditation you disappear, you go beyond mind, you go beyond senses, go beyond body, then if that state stays in waking state, then that's Aham brahmasmi. If you can remember that in waking state and operate from that conscious awareness, as Swami says, conscious integrated awareness, CIA, constant integrated awareness, he says. Thank you. Then that's it. You've won the game, which you already were anyway. But, you're just fooling with yourself. But that's it. It's not that complex. And the easiest way to have all that is to love, and love more. Love each other, love yourself, love the God in yourself, and love God in every being. Love God in nature, love God in things, love God in insects, love God in the sky, love God in the birds, love God in the plants, love God. Then it's so easy if we can just do that. Now, I'm saying this not like, oh yeah, I did it already, because I haven't. So when I speak with everybody about this, I'm also speaking to myself, like, hey, what's going on? That want to give this up, this bad habit, or I don't want to give up this desire, or don't want to give up this attachment. What's going on? Because eventually, everyone who comes here leaves. Nobody stays. And in that moment when we leave, whenever that moment by God's grace is, we give up everything. Why not beat God to the game and give it up before that moment comes? Why not? What are we afraid of? What are we holding on to that we fear if we don't hold on to it, we're not going to have something? Don't hold on to anything. You get the entire universe and the creator who made it. You know the story of Swami with his students one day. Maybe a dozen students were in the inner interview room with him. They were, I think they were college students. And he said, "You don't know who I am." And they said, "Yes, we do. You're God." "Oh, I'm God." "You say that, but you don't realize what it really means." "Oh, yes, we do, Swami. We know you're the avatar, the Kalki avatar. You're Vishnu incarnated. You're Shiva incarnated. You're blah, blah, blah." "Oh, but you don't know what that really means." He said this to them. He said, "You say it, but you don't really live with the awareness of the gravity of the awareness of what that really means." Probably they were talking too much, in the dorms, where they weren't studying enough. This is Swami's way of correcting students. This is how he usually did it, in some form or fashion of this. Like, "Will you listen to me, please? You know who I am? When I tell you what to do you really do it? Do you take me seriously?" So they were saying, "Oh, Swami, you're a Kalki avatar. You are the great Maha avatar of all time. You're Krishna, you're Rama, you're..." "Okay, great. All names and all forms are yours." "Okay, Saira." And then he just laughed. And he went, "You don't get it." And he went like this. And between his fingers was this ball. And he said, "What's this?" to the students. "This is true, verified." And they said, "Oh, it's a glowing orb." "Yes." "This side, what is this side?" "Glowing white." And he said, "What's this side?" They said, "Dark." "So what is this?" he said. And they were like dumbfounded. They didn't know what to say. He said, one student said, "It's a copy of the moon." He said, "No, it is the moon. And before anybody realizes that it's not in the sky at this moment, I have to put it back." And he went, "Oop." And this is a true story. This happened. And then the students looked at him, dumbfounded. And they all realized, even though they knew he was God, they had not in their conscious actions, in their heart of hearts, behaved knowing that he's God. And every word that he spoke was the absolute truth of God and to be lived to the best of our ability. I think they all did better on their exams that term. So, do we individually have that gravity of awareness while still being Swami's friend, being Swami's relative, being so close and so comfortable with Swami that we just merge in love together? Can we be in that state of consciousness consciously? can we live that way? Now, not tomorrow. Now. So once, when I first, in 78, when I had an individual interview after everybody, Roseanne, Hilda, and everybody had left because Swami told me to stay. And I stayed to the last moment before I had to go back to graduate school. I was so nervous to have that, individual interview, that when he actually called me at the end of August, very beginning of September in 78, I was shaking. I was shaking like a leaf. I mean, I was, this is God. It's the first time I ever been there. So Swami calls everybody in for the interview. When you have an individual interview at those days, anyway, there were many people that had individual interviews as a collective in a particular morning. So he let everybody in, and when it came, I was the last one to go in. But when I went to go in, he took his arms and went like this and blocked the door. So and then he took me and he pushed me up against the mandir wall. He just took his hands and pushed me up against the mandir wall. That wasn't the end of it. I weighed 150 pounds. Swami weighed 108 at best. He grabbed my shirt and lifted me up like I was a leaf and shook me like this. And I was at least 6 to 12 inches off the ground. And he was shaking me like a leaf. And all the veranda men at that time, people that were closer to Swami and longtime devotees, they were laughing. They were just laughing. They were all men laughing. They were laughing and having a great time. And I'm like, wow. I just let Swami do it because I knew he was trusted that what he was doing was absolutely for my best. And it did make me fairly relaxed, but that wasn't the end of it. Then he puts me down and I'm standing there and he's slapping my cheeks and pinching my cheeks and going like this and, grabbing. And then he stops. He says, okay, go in. And, he just wanted me to be relaxed. He wanted to act like my best buddy, my brother, like my father, just close embrace, love, friendship, and not to make a distance between us. Not to be anxious and scared. He wanted that to happen, and he made it happen. It was a crazy interview. It was nuts. I'll just tell you a couple of things from it. At the time, I was choosing between Philadelphia Modern Psychoanalytic School. Philadelphia School is psychoanalysis, a modern psychoanalytic institute that invited me to start their program. But I had 1 year of social work school at NYU. But the field advisor, the supervisor in my internship didn't really like me. She was atheist and I wasn't. And I put up a picture of Sai Baba and Jesus on my wall. And she said, who's that? I said, well, this is my friend Sai Baba and you know Jesus. And she said, well, you take your friend Sai Baba off the wall. And this isn't the Salvation Army. Take Jesus off there too. And then come into my office. And she then told me that I was not a good social worker and I would not be graduating in social work. But it was only like the second week of social work school in 1977. So I went to Swami. And then I appealed that decision at NYU and they told me, well, she didn't teach you anything this year. You're going to have to repeat first year of field placement. And even if you got A's, it didn't matter because, you failed field placement because she gave you an F, but she didn't teach you. So it was not your fault. So you had a personality conflict, too bad, but you got to repeat the year. So I thought, well, I go to the Philadelphia School of Psychoanalysis and forget social work. I went to Swami and I said to him, I asked him in the interview, amongst other things, like, Swami, should I go to graduate school at psychoanalysis or should I go to graduate school at social work? And he said, yes. I went, Swami, wait a minute. I thought I hadn't said it clearly. Swami, social work school at NYU or Philadelphia School of Psychoanalysis? And he goes, yes. And I go, Swami, what are you saying? Are you telling me to go to both graduate schools simultaneously? And he starts laughing, goes, 2 is better than 1. Oh, yeah. Means, how much homework there is, reading. It was 5 days a week of social work school, Saturdays in Philadelphia.
He kept Al busy.
So, okay, that's done. So anyway, okay, got that clarified. Great. So Swami says, okay, you can go now, And I go, wait a minute, Swami. And I pull out from my white shirt, I had a pocket, my friend Hilda's longtime friend and much younger than her, person from Sri Lanka who sponsored her. His whole family had sponsored Hilda in Sri Lanka while she lived there for like 16 years and took care of her. And when she came back to New York, he was already living with his wife in New York and his 2 kids. And so she moved into the house to take care of the 2 kids. But he died of diabetes 2 years prior to our interview with Swami. So I had brought his ashes in a live-all bottle in a Ziploc case.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I had brought some.
They had put them in the ocean in Sri Lanka, except for a few.
And I brought some to go to Rishikesh in the Ganges. So I wanted Swami to bless it before I went there. So I turn, Swami says, okay, go. I say, Swami, he turns and goes, yes. And then I pull out this live-all bottle in a Ziploc bag from my pocket. And I pointed it, here, Swami. And he goes, what's this? And then he takes it. And I said, that's my friend. He goes, okay. And I said, I was planning on bringing it to the Ganges and putting his ashes in the Ganges. And that's Raja. And you know who he is, because he told Hilda about Raja when Hilda was with him for a year. And anyway, he goes like this. And he goes, and then he touches the live-all bottle like this. And he goes, okay, bring it to the Ganges. And how many people do you know that pull out a live-all bottle filled with ashes of their friends? Ask Swami to bless it. I mean, Swami was fantastic, unbelievably close. If I started distancing myself from him at any time in the it was in the next actually 33 years that I was with him after that, personally. If I ever distanced myself from him in any way, he would just go like this. He wouldn't even look at me. He wouldn't talk to me until I came close, into a friendship thing again. He always kept pushing me into friendship. And of course, to devote yourself as a devotee to God as your best friend, that brings truth and love and deep understanding. And he was hoping I would get there someday. And I hope I do get there someday.
Can I tell a quick Hilda Swami story that's very similar to yours about the school?
Why not?
Okay. You remember Hilda had a ring that she could see different masters in, and she would look at it and she could see different. Well,
Sai Baba made that ring.
I knew all about it. So
he said to Hilda at the time he made it, whoever looks into this black onyx ring, which was set in 18 karat gold, will see their Sadguru. That's what he said.
Well, I didn't know that part, but I knew she was always looking and seeing different, masters. And so before I went to my first visit to Swami, it was in 74. And Hilda said, now remember, be very careful what you ask for. Think about it in advance. So, Swami asked me, and I said, liberation. I mean, the first thing I'm asking for. And he said, no, picture, ring. And I said, oh, well, I would really love a ring like Hilda's if you want to give me a ring. And he said, picture of Swami or picture of Hilda?
That's sweet.
So it was very cute. So he gave me a ring with a picture of him.
He gave you a ring with a picture of him.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I've never seen anybody have a ring with a picture of Hilda.
Oh, I know, but I mean, it was, but that was the
You
joke.
wouldn't like that.
I mean, it was my stupidity. It was fun.
That's sweet.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that.
The most beautiful moment I ever experienced was with Maynard Ferguson. It was actually that day that I had the individual interview. And he was sitting next to me, and Swami goes to each one of us, what do you want? And I go, God. And he looks at me, and then he moves to Maynard. He says, what do you want? And Maynard says, I want every person to be happy. I just want them to be happy, content. And he loved that answer because that was unselfish, whereas mine was, I want God, And he waved his hand like this, and he made this beautiful gold ring with 2 thumb-sized diamonds diagonally set.
Ooh.
And when Maynard put it on, because he played the trumpet, of course, Maynard Ferguson, the great jazz trumpeter, he said that the way it was designed was exactly right for him to play the trumpet with, because the spit valve fit perfectly with the ring. And if it was straight across, he wouldn't have been able to wear it while playing the trumpet. Nevertheless, he put it on his tray that night. And when he woke up in the morning, it was gone. And he's like panicked, oh my God, I lost this is solid 18 karat gold with 2 huge diamonds. And it must have cost, God only knows. And he lost it. And so he went to Darshan that next day. And Swami called him in again. And he says, where's the ring? And Maynard goes, I lost it, Swami, I don't know. And Swami went, you don't know? Then he started laughing. He said, I took it back. And he said, you thought it was too ostentatious. You thought when you were on stage, this is what you thought, that when you were wearing the ring, the lights from the stage lights would bounce off that ring and be 2 huge beams of light coming off the ring. And everybody would think, who's this guy? I mean, what's he about with this ring? And they would be distracted from your trumpeting, your beautiful music. And so Maynard said, yeah. He smiled. He said, yes, I did have that thought, Swami. I'm sorry I had that thought. He said, no. And then he went like this and made the same exact ring with 2 like diamonds that were like very, like the size of half the size of your pinky nail. And Maynard wore that whenever he performed. And to the end of his life, as far as I know. And that's how compassionate and magnificent Swami is. Another thing about Swami, I just want to add to this while we're on it. Swami, I would go to Swami and I was a pretend yogi, meaning I lived in Manhattan with Hilda. I was her driver, and I was brahmachari for 15 years during prime time. So I thought I was a yogi, and I would do yoga every morning. I'd meditate and everything like that. And what kind? I mean, I'm in the Western world. How much of a yogi could I be? I'm going to college. But the fact of the matter is, Swami would ask me, "Where's your wife?" And I'd say, "In you, Swami." And he'd go, "Acha, acha," because he really liked people to be brahmachari until they were married. And so for 15, whenever I got there, from 78 till 88, he'd ask me, "Where's your wife?" And I'd say, "In you, Swami." Acha. Then he'd ask somebody else, "Where's your husband?" "I don't know, Swami. You don't know. I don't know." And they go, "What?" He'd go, and then he'd ask me, where's your wife? And I'd say, "In you, Swami." He'd go, "See." So in any event, 88 comes, Hilda passes on, and Roseanne and I go to to Swami's. And we're sitting there, we have an interview after a while, and luckily, and Swami goes to me, "Where's your wife?" And I go, "In you, Swami." He goes, "Ah." Like, he looked like my father when he would slap me. And he went, and then he went, "Where's your wife?" And I go, "Oh, she's right here, Swami, behind me, and Roseanne's right here." And he said, "Ah, yes." And then he goes to me, puts his face in my face, and he goes like this. He put his hand up, and he goes, "Everything and everyone is in me." Mean, this is the truth for all of us. I mean, I was lucky enough to be physically told like that because I was just a thickhead from Brooklyn. But the fact of the matter is, it's for all of us. And Swami's with all of us all the time. All the time. Don't ever think he's ever separate. He's the air we breathe. He's our heart's beat. He's our soul's light. He's the love we share with each other. He's even the anger. He doesn't like that because it doesn't help people grow, but he's that too. He's every thought, every feeling, negative, positive, doesn't matter, every level of energy that we live in. He is all that there is, and there is nothing else. All the time, everywhere, everyone, everything. That's what he sings about when he says, expansion is my life. Because he's expanding in his awareness when we are aware that we are one, we are him.
So let's meditate on that.
Takes millions of lifetimes to be aware of the avatar. And we are aware of the avatar. This is it, the end game, as they say in chess.
Let's sit up straight. Check your posture. Make sure your energy can flow. Relax your shoulders. And now let's do 3 ohms.
Oh.
Now taking a deep breath, fill your lungs, and breathe out. Breathe in again, feel your lungs expanding, your diaphragm expanding, pulling all the air. Hold it a second. Then breathe out. Breathe in again. Hold it. And breathe out. Notice the sound that the breath makes. So as we inhale, hum as we exhale. Now do this breathing. So hum. So Hum. Watch the breath. Do this inside, listening inside for a few minutes on your own. If your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the sound. So, breathing in. Hum, breathing out. I am that. Keep on doing it, feeling it inside. So, hum. I am. Think about with each breath your divinity, who we really are with each breath. You're being told, I am. Feel it. Feel this wonderful breath, prana coming into us, knowledge of who we are. So our breath, every breath tells us who we are. I am. So, hum. So, hum. So, hum. Watch the breath. Listen very carefully inside. Hear it. We don't have to do anything else but know who we are. So, hum. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Go deeply within. So hum. Don't let anything distract you from your own reality. So hum. Go deeper. Who am I? So hum. I am. Swami says, I am the infinite, indivisible, supreme, absolute. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Truth, awareness, bliss. I am indivisible, bliss, absolute. With each breath, go deeper. So hum. So hum. There's nothing outside of us. It's only God. So hum. Feel the love coming. Love who we really are. With each breath. Infinite love. Infinite compassion. Infinite knowing.
Fill the heart with the infinite love that is the God within you and all around you. Breathe that love in. Let the heart be filled with the light of love. Nurture that love. Ask Swami or your favorite form of God that you adore to be seated in that heart and love you and help you as you love each other. Love more and let that love build now. Breath of love. The sun itself in the sky is a shadow of the light that we all are and that we have within our heart. It's just a shadow of it. the million suns of light of consciousness within our heart. Imagine, you don't have to see it. Imagine that it's filling your heart so full that it overflows through the entire temple of the body, like a glass that's empty, filling up with water. This body from the tips of the toes to the top of the head, these temples that we're in, that we are one in, fills with the light of love, with God. Let it rise through the torso, from the legs to the torso, through the arms, shoulders, arms, hands, into the neck and into the head. And every cell and atom of these temples that are touched by the light of love that is God within us are purified, strengthened, immune system maximized. God is omnipotent within us and all around. Believe it, and that belief becomes reality, because that belief is based in truth, and the truth will set you free. You are love incarnate. Love is God, and God is love. Live in love this moment. Let the light of love fill the mind, the brain, purify the senses. It flows into the head, from the back of the neck, right through to the forehead, lighting up the pituitary and pineal glands, purifying taste, touch, smell, sight, and hearing. Om. Go beyond the breath into the Om. So hum turns into Om. Om is the name of God in the absolute. the mind dwell on home, and the heart, the whole temple be filled with the light of love. God's in charge. Antaryayami. Om. When the mind wanders and you notice, just bring it back. No need to worry or judge it. It's just doing what it does. Just its nature. When the karmas are dissolving, the mind gets kicked into thoughts and feelings. Just come back when you can to the light of love, the Om in the mind, and the being who you really are. Embodiment of the Absolute. Embodiment of love. We were never born and we will never die. If you like, follow the sun at sunrise in the forehead to the top of the head. The sun travels the inner arc of the consciousness, trans to the high noon at the top of the head. Transverses the inner sky of consciousness from the dawn in the forehead to high noon at the top of the head. Rest there, and the whole temple turns into the light of love automatically. Rest there with Om, to whatever name of God you adore, or just Om, whatever you like, but stick with one. Let everything else go. No need for it. I am that I am. Let it all go. if you like, open that crown chakra. Inch above it is the 8th chakra. Imagine that the love that you feel is flowing, overflowing like a fountain, coming out from you and spreading beyond the physical boundaries of the temple walls. They become transparent and you shine out like the sun in the room you're in the community you're in, upon all beings you think of. Friends, family, strangers, acquaintances, and so-called enemies. All are the embodiments of love. All embodiments of God, just as you are. All are one. Be alike to everyone. Be in love with everyone. Love all and serve all. Right now. Power of prayer and visualization. I am that I am. Let the river flow into the ocean. Expand your awareness. Let the whole countryside, the whole world turn into God's love and light. Expand. All is the embodiment of all. Let everything else go. I have no labels needed. Not this, not that. Just all. God. Let the stars and the clouds and the sky and everything that we conceive of this universe be in the light of love, body of God. The whole universe is our body. Boom. Expand beyond the universe even. There's a phrase in Sanskrit, Aranya Gala. Golden Shiva Lingam is the symbol of the created universe. And the whole thing, the size of an egg. And it sits within the ocean of God that is love. The whole created universe sits like a golden egg in the ocean of love. Be that Now, the source of the universe. Let the whole thing go. We were never born, and we will never die. No birth, no death. Let it all go. Om, source of all. I am that I am. We are that. Radha Krishna, love supreme. Keep letting go into that. You are the absolute incarnate. We're all the absolute incarnate. Embodiments of the absolute. Aham Brahmasmi. Keep letting go into that. Before the Big Bang, we are that. Om, the source of all. The mind comes again. Just let it dwell on Om. And then ask yourself, who am I really? Feel the answer. Don't think the answer. Feel in your heart of hearts the answer. The oneness of love. Always, now, always has been, always will be. Oh. God is, I am, we are that. feel what you are now. Feel where you are, especially in comparison to what you felt before meditating tonight. How you felt before today's meditation. Feel what you are now. Be that now. Don't forget. Be that now. Oneness of love. Sai Baba is the only doer. God is the only doer. God is the meditator. God is that which is meditated upon. God is the process of meditation. God is the only doer. Sharanagati. Namo Namah. Brahmasmi. So breathe this awareness back into the temple of the body, back into the altar of the heart, and let that all eternal light of love burn forever and ever and ever in that altar, on that altar. Let these temples be lighthouses for all beings. They may find their way home. And however long our path may be, may God show us the way. Bring us home by grace of God as we try our best. The rest is up to the Father, Mother of us all. Oneness of love from which we were born from which we live in, and that which we have never been born and we will never die. So breathe it in, coming back in, coming back in. Take your time. Let us home for all beings. May they be happy and healthy and prosperous. May all their needs be met. May all their good dreams come true. May their loved ones and loved ones everywhere be free. May there be peace on earth. God's peace on earth. May all our friends and family, may you yourselves, may all your needs be met and all your dreams come true. Prosperity, health, and happiness be yours. Your family, your loved ones, your friends. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samasta Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Peace be with you. Take a good 2 to 3 minutes before slowly opening the eyes. Take your time. Don't leave God out there somewhere. Be God, walking, talking, breathing, loving, acting, serving on earth. Each and every moment of the day, 24/7. Be that now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very, very much. We thank God in every form and name, the grace that pours upon us each and every moment of the day and night. Thank you, God. You are the only doer. Wonderful love. Okay, it's all yours. Sai Prasanna, do we have time for anybody to share?
Of course. We have 2 more minutes as per our session. But yes, please. I know
Anybody
we
want
were deep in today after a long time.
I don't think we meet in August, right? Because August.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned that. So we'll probably catch up again in September.
Yes, in September.
Thank you for sticking with us and helping us go through this every month. It's such a
Swami's grace.
blessing.
Thank
Well,
you.
it's blessing more for us because we get to, if you lead, you get much more.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to share, please say something now.
Stunned into eternal silence.
I really enjoyed listening to your interviews. They were wonderful. Very
Oh.
nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here, dedicating.
Sai Ram, I'm just wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing how to join your weekly meditations as well.
I will send it to Sai Prasanna, and she can send it out if you like, or you can send the request to Sai Prasanna, and then she'll send it to you. I'll send it to her. It's more, it's universal. It's more in the absolute, than beyond name. It's beyond name and form.
He does it from his office.
I would love that, and maybe even invite others in my life who are not Swami devotees. If
It's really
okay
good
with
for
you.
people who aren't Sai devotees. I mentioned Sai Baba as being my Sadguru, but in reality, the only Sadguru is the absolute for everyone. And that Sadguru,
Absolutely.
which is true to Aham Brahmasmi, is the embodiment of the absolute. So the only real guru is the absolute.
Beautiful,
great.
Sai Ram. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll get it for you, Chitra, after, brother. I'll get it.
Thank you.
So let me thank Swami and you, and then we can close it. Dear Swami, we are so blessed and fortunate to have known you and your dear instruments, Brother Al and Sister Roseanne. It was very inspiring, and it was inspiring our faith in you and treating you as our friend, and the experiences that Brother Al and Roseanne shared. This is bringing us even more closer to you, feeling your presence every moment. And the meditation itself, Swami, you have taken us close to you. Please continue to help us to practice this and be in your omnipresence every moment, and always be connected to the fact that we are never born and we are never going to die. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai.
Yeah.
Jai Sai Ram.
Yes, Sai Ram. Every third Thursday, starting in August.
Except
Unless
for
the
August.
big-
We can do. Oh, or
I mean,
Uh,
starting in September. I'm
oh,
sorry.
we have to
Starting
bring
in
our
September,
daughter.
because we have to bring
yeah,
our daughter to college.
So.
Yeah, yeah, I know. You mentioned that. September is okay, right?
Yes?
yes.
Okay, let's do it in September.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Doing
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Jai Sai Ram.
Have a wonderful summer.
Have a wonderful rest of the summer.
Enjoy your summer and your break.